stamp the same pattern along the silk on the fan.
Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. And what a nice little pairing. You can give like a scarf and a fan. Okay, so now we're going to take the same technique we used with the silk scarves and put that on a silk beret.
Absolutely.
Now, how do you stamp a three-dimensional project like this?
This is probably the easiest project we'll ever do.
All right.
And they're all pretty easy. But this one, I'm just going to ink up our background stamp that we used, and I'm going to take and roll.
Oh, look at that. So rather than actually use a stamp on top of the beret, you're actually rolling the beret over the stamp itself.
Yeah. And then maybe a couple little accent pieces in here.
Now, what a great gift. Like if you have sisters and you want to give everybody like just a little something to throw in their stocking.
And they have a matching set.
And they have a matching set. That is beautiful and literally seconds. All right. So what else can we do? This is exciting. All right, so you just have another example of what we can do with silk scarves and stamping, right?
Exactly. The bottom part, which is more yellow, was stamped first, and then the top part, which is a more mustard color, was stamped with a second stamp.
So it's two different colors and two different stamps, but it's just one quick motion.
Exactly.
Wow, so two-step stamping, and it creates these beautiful scarves that it really does look like they're hand-painted. And here we have a holiday scarf, which is great because the holidays are coming up. Look at that. And this is very similar to, now, it's a little darker than the white.
It is a little darker than the white.
So how did you get that?
When it came to me, it was the same. They were all the same color.
Okay.
But what I did here was I dyed this with tea bags.
How clever. Everyone's got a tea bag in their home.
Tea bags. I boiled water, threw a couple tea bags in there, and then I threw some scarves in, cooked it up for a couple of minutes, pulled them out and let them dry. This is the color.
So it gives you a nice like ecru colored.
And depending on how long you leave them in the boiled water with that the tea bags have been in, they'll be darker. Like this is a little bit lighter color.
Silk scarf.
And then I have this one done with our With Gratitude stamp set, which I had left in the water with the tea bags a little bit longer.
And I just absolutely love, is this the same stamp?
This was all done with one stamp.
One stamp to this entire scarf. Look at this.
This was done with Bravo Burgundy, Old Olive, more mustard, and chocolate chip craft ink pads. So there are 4 different colors on here, but they're all the same stamp.
And look how gorgeous. It's just like fall. It's just like all the different colored leaves.
Such a beautiful combination.
Beautiful.
So perfect for fall. This was done with a stamp set called Wild Rose.
Okay. These are really, really big images.
They are. They are called Definitely Decorative. They're a line of larger stamp sets made for home decor especially, and it just is absolutely gorgeous.
For home decor, that means I could like stamp my walls with this.
Stamp your walls with this.
Look
Absolutely.
how beautiful.
The trick to this pattern, this design here, is called masking.
Okay.
And I'm going to show you how to do it.
Wonderful. Let's see how it's done. Now I'm wearing this beautiful hand-stamped scarf, and Tami's going to show us how to do masking, whatever that means.
Now, we talked about the two-step stamp little bit with our sunflower. This is really going to demonstrate our two-step stamps well.
Okay.
These 2 pieces right here of our rose are 2 steps to the same rose. So what I'm going to do is just want to ink it up. I'm using rose red here. And I'm going to use the same color for both pieces, but they won't show if I do one and then the other.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is stamp this off on a piece of scrap paper.
Okay.
And that will make it a shade lighter than the normal color.
So that's clever
It's
to
also
control
a
your
way
color.
of getting 2 different colors out of the same ink pad.
Very, very smart.
Now I'm going to take you always want the more solid image to have the lighter color.
Okay.
So the outline of our rose,
So we're just going to go straight to the scarf rather than do the...
Right.
Now how do you line it
straight
up?
on, so it's, and you know, I'm glad that you asked that question because I'm not really lining it up. I'm just eyeballing it. You may see it's not lined up perfectly, and you may notice that the one that you have on isn't lined up perfectly either, but you may not have noticed that before I just pointed it out to you. If you don't point it out to anyone, they'll never know. And then what I've done is I've taken the rose, I've stamped it on some paper, and I've cut the paper out. And then I'm going to take this and place it over the rose that we just stamped.
Okay.
This is the masking.
Oh.
So I'm going to do the same thing, stamp off our rose once, and I'm
Okay.
going to kind of stamp it at a different angle.
Oh, and the piece of paper came off, but you can see that where the paper was, there's no other ink.
Exactly. So that's the trick to this. This is what's giving it the dimension. It looks like one rose is on top of the other.
How clever.
I'm going to stamp the outline. Again, not lining it up perfectly, just eyeballing it.
Look at that, you got two beautiful roses, and it looks like one's on top of the other.
Exactly.
So it gives you
So
that
it gives
nice
it-
three-dimensional.
Exactly. And I'm going to take it one step further. I'm going to bring another stamp set into this picture.
Okay.
We are going to use a stamp set called Blossoms Abound.
Okay.
Another two-step stamp set. This one has our solid image and our outline image. We're going to stamp our solid and almost amethyst. Stamp it off once. And then randomly stamp it behind the rose. And I'm going to do the same with the outline as we did with the outline of the rose. I'm going to stamp it right on
And just eyeball it.
and just eyeball it.
And
then,
look at that, you get the two-tone stamping with the color.
So again, more dimension there. And I'm going to do the same thing with the leaves. Stamp off once with the mellow moss. And stamp them behind our rose. And then stamp their outline right on. And when I lift our masks,
Look
you'll
at
see that we have our image behind our rose. Now, on this one, the center of the rose is an apricot color. So what I've done is I've taken our friend the sponge dauber, just dabbed it in the apricot ink,
And just kind of colored it in.
and I'm just going to dab it right on the center of the rose, and that's going to give us the center color.
Look at that.
And once we've completed our image and stamped our leaves and our greenery behind our rose,
You have just this beautiful, gorgeous scarf that literally looks like it's been hand painted, but it's not. It's just
and
been
it's
done
done in minutes
with rubber stamping.
with rubber stamps and crafting pads.
Beautiful. Look at that. I'm ready to go out.
It was nice of you to color coordinate.
I know. Thank you so much for showing us just how easy it is to make silk scarves.
Well, thank you, Vanessa.